Okay, in this demo, what I'm going to do for you guys is I want to show you how to take, we have a model here. It's a student rifle that's already been done. This was the Super Soaker version. I want to show you how to take a rifle and unassign all the textures and shading groups and materials to it, and how to import that in. I'm going to be showing you how to use the Render Studio. The Render Studio is sort of an image-based lighting setup that's already custom, and you can import your model into it, and then you have to reassign textures to it, and when you render it, it comes out looking fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the steps and the procedures on how to do that. First thing I'm going to do is open up my outliner right here. I'm going to go ahead and select this object right here, and I'm going to group it together so it's one. Now, in the past demo that I did for you guys on importing and exporting of files, right, I want to make sure I select this not with the middle hierarchy, but the main hierarchy right here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select over the whole entire gun. I'm going to say group, okay, and there it is, it's grouped. Okay, I've centered the pivot. Now I'm going to come back in here. You'll notice I have, this is also a little bit of a regroup for us. We'll come back in and take a look at all the leftover history. So here's the rifle that I've grouped. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to label this as an underscore, okay, right now. And then I'm going to come back up here and say edit, delete by type. So this is a little bit of a review of the past demo that I did. Okay, delete all by type history, and then delete all the history associated with that. Then I'm going to come up here and I have all this leftover junk. This is important because when I'm exporting and re-importing files to be rendered again, I want to make sure I don't have all the junk associated with it, right? So I'm going to select all this junk right here. I'm going to hit delete. As I hit delete, I'm always looking at the gun to make sure that nothing disappears. If something did disappear, then I accidentally didn't delete the history of all the objects. Sometimes if you miss selecting an object or two and there's history associated with it, you hit delete, and what will happen is it'll delete, there's another part that maybe it's part of a bouillon, an extrusion or something, and it'll delete that part that you want to keep. Now that I have that done, I have the key gun right there itself. I want to strip the textures. I'm going to come up to the hypershade. So I go under Window, Rendering Editors. I'm going to come down here to Hypershade. Okay, it's going to pull it up. Now what I want to do in here really quick is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say under Edit, I'm going to say Delete All by Type, Shading Groups and Materials. Okay, and there's also Textures, Light. So I had a light up there. I'll do the light first. Should delete all the light setups. Okay. Come back under here again, edit, delete all by type, shading groups, materials, okay? And what this does quite often is we come back here and look in my key view here. I'm in my shaded mode, but look at what happened. Maya has stripped it down to the wireframe, and there's no shade on it anymore. And I'm pressing 5, okay? That's because Maya doesn't know what to assign it. So all I do is I quickly come over, select the whole gun. I come over, I right-click on the base Lambert. The base Lambert is the common shade mode, right, that we get, the standard default, and I say assign material to selection, and now I have the shaded mode again on the gun. Okay, there it is. So that's done. So as I can tell by looking in my hypershade right now, I have no other materials, I have no other surfaces, bump map, textures, nothing else is in there for me to assign to my gun. I want my gun basic right now. Now that I have that done, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to save the file. Okay, File, and I'm going to save the scene as. Now, I talked about this before in the last demo. I'm going to do it as an underscore. And the reason why is when I import that back in, okay, if I have a large extension, it could add a lot on to the whole description located in the outliner. So I like to just do it as an underscore. Okay, so I'm going to save it as that underscore right there and make sure it's on my desktop. Okay, selected there. I'm going to hit save as. Okay, I'm going to replace what's already there. Actually, you know what? No, because I think that's the other one. I'm going to do a double underscore. Oop. Sorry, a double underscore for right now. Okay, so save as. All right. Then when I'm going to come over, I'm going to open up the Render Studio. File, Open Scene. If I go down to my desktop, I will give you guys this file. It's called Rendering Studio. I'm going to select that, hit Open. Okay. Don't save. I've already saved that. And when the Render Studio opens, when we look at it, I'm going to go ahead and pull out, right? This is an image-based lighting system, okay? It has a sphere around it. Don't mess with anything. Just import your gun in, assign new materials to it, and render it. I'll do that really quick. It's going to look fantastic, all right? This is a pre-set up and established rendering option that works fantastic. Now look at this. You have even like a cloth backdrop here. Do you see that? Leave it alone. You're just going to put your gun back behind it, and then you're going to come in and render it. Now, the only downfall is that when we render this and we save it as the PSD, it doesn't delete the background. So we have to go in with the wand tool and select the gray area and delete it. Okay, it's not like it, for some reason, we just tried it on another machine and it wasn't separating it in Photoshop. How it does when we render the background separate in physical sun and sky. It wasn't doing that, but that's no biggie. The benefit of this image-based lighting system is it makes the plastics and the material X's look excellent. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've opened up Render Studio. I'm going to come over here and say File. I'm going to go to Import. Okay, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to grab, I had double spaces there, double underscore, Import, and voila, look, there's my gun. It's in the center. I'm going to go ahead, I can zoom into it. Now this is where I'm going to come back in and I'm going to reassign. Okay, so I'm going to go to Window, Rendering Editors. Let's go to Hypershade. And there's a reason for this. Okay, see these already pre-established. Don't mess with any of these. There's a dome light in here. There's some other illumination properties that are associated with the image-based setup for Rendering Studio. Don't mess with those. So I'm going to come over here right now. I'm going to create a couple Material X's. So I'm going to come down under Materials right here. I'm going to slide down. There's Material X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go in here. Oops, I closed out by accident. Let's go back to Hypershade. Okay. So inside my Hypershade window right now, I'm going to come over here and click on a couple of these Material X's. Again, I'm not messing with any of these. Those are the standard defaults. Let's come over here. I'm going to select this guy here. I'm going to go to Presets. I'm going to come down here and go to Glossy Plastic. Now, if I'm assigning a color, and if I go to Replace, it's replacing everything with the glossy plastic, but I want to have a base color underneath it. So we were messing with this earlier. I'm going to go to Blend 90. So when I hit that, it gives me a color. I can now select the color. I'm going to go in here and pick, let's do the red for one color. Okay. And come back here, click this other one here. I'm going to go back to Presets. I'm going to pick, again, we have all those presets, okay. I'm going to go back to Glossy Plastic. I'm going to go back to Blend 90. And I'm going to pick, I like the green, like the darker green can look pretty cool, like that. It's a nice, when you get darker values, it gets the reflective highlight on it. You can really notice a difference, right? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do it again. Presets. Oops. Presets right here. And let's do, let's try one glossy finish and see what happens. Blend at 90%. Okay. You'll notice I didn't get the color option. Let's go in here and pick color. Let's go this darker blue. Okay, and let's come over here, presets, and let's go to glossy plastic again, 90%. Okay. Wait a minute. Thought I did that 90. There you go. Color. And let's try that right there. Okay, done. So now I have 4 colors here. I'm going to come in really quick. I'm going to pick some parts of the rifle that are here. Okay, don't select what's in the back there. So I'm going to go ahead and just sort of fly through this. Let's do assign material to selection. Let's do that there. Let's do the base body, that darker green. Assign to selection. Let's do some of these other details here. Let's do these all in red. Okay. Let's do that in red. Let's do that. Okay. Assign material selection. There we go. That's red. Let's give that guy red too. Okay. And what else do we have? We have the blue. I know these are probably horrible color choices, but I'm just doing this super fast to see what it looks like. Okay. Let's go put the green back here again. Put green up here. Alright, I'm about done, and let's do Picatinny rail. Let's do that. What else do we have? Right there. And there's another trigger mount there. Let's do that. And red. Okay. Oops. Let's try that again. Select. There we go. Right click on it. Assign material to selection. There it is. Okay. Now look. I have a pre-established frame in here. Don't mess with anything. Leave it alone. Only thing I'm going to do is go to view and put on camera settings resolution gate here so I can see what I'm rendering. Okay? Don't change the size. It's 1920 by 1920. It's been pre-established to come out and look a certain way. You know what? Let me get the front there. Window, rendering editors, hypershade. Okay, let me just get that front detail. Let's do blue on those. We'll do 1, 2. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. You know what? Now I changed the dome by accident. Gosh darn it. Let me go back. Find out where I assigned that dome color. There. What I'm going to do really quick. So this might be a good exercise for you guys. If I did that, it could easily, you're up so close and you don't want to assign the dome. We don't want to change any of the settings on the dome. So let's just do this. Let's select everything here and hit hide. And hide again. So it's just the gun that we're looking at right now. Okay. And then I'll go back and say show all. So let me go back in here and reassign everything. Okay. Let's do, I think we're doing this blue. And sorry about that, guys. I had to go back and I made a simple mistake. Let me just fly through this. Let's do red, red, red. Let's do these red here. Okay, right click, assign the material to selection, and do the body green, and green, green. Let's get that green. You know what? Let's do that body too. Let's go pink. And almost done. Okay, let's get this piece here. Okay, and let's do, what color should we do that? Let's try that. Let's do red on that. Okay, there we go. There. Now it's done. So to get everything back here, I'm going to go to display, show all. Okay, everything's back in my scene. I'm going to come up over here, view, camera settings, resolution gate here, and get locked in on my rifle here. And then I'm going to hit render. Okay. Now I want you guys to see the difference of what's going to happen here. It's going to take a little bit longer to render than physical sun and sky. But the options that are preset on this image-based rendering system are going to give us much more incredible detail. It's basically thrown in what we call an occlusion render, which is a dark valued render, which I haven't showed you guys how to do yet. It's really easy. Okay, and it's blending that in with the colors, and it's giving you the nice reflective traits of that glossy plastic. And see how much longer it's taking. When we're rendering it in physical sun and sky, it would take literally a couple seconds. So there's much more happening right now for it to be taking this long. So let's just be patient here for another minute. Look there. Look at the blue in there already, and there still needs to be a final pass on that. It still isn't finished rendering. It's really getting this authentic look and feel like plastic. Takes a lot longer. Almost there.
You're right, though. It looks great.
Yeah, it does. It's a huge difference. So, unfortunately, Aaron, you've already, done yours. It would be worth it to go in there and reapply everything back to it. We shouldn't take you that much time to start from the beginning.
Colors, I know how to do it all.
Yeah. So if you, yeah, exactly. It shouldn't take too much time. Because look at how long this render's taking, but look at the reflective quality of the red and the blue already.
Looks
Yeah, it's really making it look like it's a real life, legitimate plastic toy.
You're gonna hand out the video to me.
Yeah, I'm going to process this in a minute as soon as it's done rendering here. And I think what we'll do is on Thursday I'll just have to do that other demo for you if we run out of time here today, which we probably will.
Yeah, everything's printed on Thursday,
Um,
Next Tuesday, right?
no, it was next Tuesday.
right? Oh, next Tuesday.
Yeah, I was giving you Thursday to work, and then because basically your end strike version of your assignment should be done,
Yeah.
and then you're going in and I was doing a demo for you guys last week, and I just were having some problems with some of the geometry working right. So look at it, still doing a final pass on it. Now it's going back and putting all the highlights on the green and everything. Look at the quality difference. Okay.
Really realistic.
Yeah, it does. Looks fantastic. Yes.
So you just keep on the dark gun and the video game one?
Yes, you're to be turning in both.
Oh, okay.
Yes, next Tuesday
Next Tuesday.
will be our big critique.
At the day later tonight.
So let me focus on, I'll remind you guys about that in a second. So look at the difference here. Look at the quality of this render right now. It's still rendering. It's going into, we're going into the 4-minute range here, 5-minute range.
Control C.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me just go ahead just to save us time here. So there's our render. Look at the difference. Look at that highlights and the plastic quality there. Okay, it looks fantastic. Okay, so now here's a problem that we just encountered a couple minutes ago. We were trying to save this in the render form here. We were coming on under File Save As. Someone was trying to save it to their desktop and we couldn't get it to save. You know why? There's not a permission granted. It might be in the individual computers. So what we did is we're saving it directly to the thumb drive and it was working. So if you come under here, mine it'll work on my desktop because I have different permissions than you guys because I'm the boss, right? So if I come over here and go save image right now, I'm going to label this as test. Okay, I'm going to put it onto my desktop here, hit save. Okay,
What are you saving it as?
I just called it test for right now.
The file type.
Oh, it's PSD right there. File type, okay. So there, I saved that as, that's weird, it doesn't, look, it's not even letting me save.
It's doing the same thing?
It's doing the same thing. Look at that, I'm saving it to desktop, and I just called it test and hit save. And it's like not even, it's wanting to jump back and put it in this prearranged file. I don't know what it's doing exactly, I'm confused. So look, when I go over here and say maybe it needs to be a set project, I don't know exactly. I'm going to figure that out and I'll get back to you guys. But right now what I did earlier was let me go over here to my computer. Okay, so if I click on my drive here, I'm going to save it in there and hit save. And then it saves the file in there. Okay, let me do that again as a TIFF so we can open those up and take a look at them. Okay, so again, I'm in my E drive right there. Okay, I'm going to call this test again, but I'm going to do this as a TIFF now. Unfortunately, it did not drop out the background last time we did this. I'm going to hit save again. And that's how you know it saves. You get that little pinwheel that spins there. So that's done. That's saved. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to come over here to my computer, and I'm going to grab test PSD here. I'm going to go ahead and double click on it. It's going to open up, and there it is. But unfortunately, look at what happened, guys. It didn't delete the backdrop. Okay, so what you can do is you can double click on it, take the lock off, come over here. Okay, touch that, take the lock off. Oops, come on. There you go. Wait a minute, why is it not taking the lock off now? That is weird. It might be something new, but I'm going to take the wand, go in here, and I can delete around my gun. Take the area that I don't want. Okay, those of you know the wand tool. Okay, I have my tolerance already set at 30, and look at it. I have the gun exactly. Look at how nice it looks. Now look right here, it did get a little blended in. I deleted something there, so I might have to Command Z and go back there a little bit. But the quality of the render is just incredible. Okay, so it's worth doing. If you have to go in there and adjust your angle a little bit, so it doesn't get too dark back there, and then reselect around your gun. Spend the time in Photoshop to do it real quick. It's totally worth it, because look at the quality that's coming out from here. Okay. However, though, let's go try the TIFF. Let's see what happens when I double click that. The TIFF file opens up again. Same thing here. There, now I double clicked it and the lock came off. Must have been something I did before. So if I come in here, I take the wand tool. I just want to make sure that's much better because I already had it set at 30. And right there, it's selecting right around it. See that? Perfect. There. So now I can go ahead and I can delete all that excess there. And I can come in here and I can take my marquee and select basically all this, the rest of this gun, and I can copy and paste that into our outlines that I've already given you. Okay? So that's it. That pretty much wraps it up. Unfortunately, the physical sun and the sky get separated. I like how it's separated. It's not doing that in here. We have to manually separate it to put it in. Okay? But look at the quality of that, guys. It looks really, really cool. Okay? So that concludes this part. So now I would just copy and paste that. I would open up the outline and I would throw it in there. Okay? All right, guys.